Hello everyone, this is Angel here, and we're resuming our Let's Play, TFTC Reimagined, and today we're going to be doing, well, beginning at least, Battle 7, which is going to be the shortest battle of the entire Reimagined campaign. There's only 3 missions, but they do contain 2 of the largest missions as well.
After their lucky escape from our clutches, the late
So, I should say before I really begin explaining everything, I record these in batches, and it's actually been, I think, a month now between my recording of Battle 6 Mission 4 to me recording this video, which is going to be at least 2 or 3 days before I actually put this out on YouTube, as of today, which is the 28th of February.
Be arriving soon.
And I am now actually recording these with the updated DDraw file, which is shunting a lot of the work now onto the GPU. So you are finally going to see these bigger battles without huge lag.
Interdictor Harpax.
So there'll be a nice, smoother experience. But please bear in mind that there are still the occasional visual bugs that are still being worked on. But otherwise, it should be a similar kind of experience, just much smoother.
Group Beta.
And yeah, really enjoying this new DDraw because it's really opening the door for me on the later Reimagined campaigns that I'm designing, on what I can probably get away with now in terms of the sheer scale of an engagement.
Place, so it can't.
But that's something for another time to talk about. Today, though, we're going to talk about a mission that is probably one of the most complex missions I created to date at this point, in terms of how I structured it.
You must ensure its survival. Though the enemy fleet's fighter strength.
So we need to go through a bit of history first. This, I do already have a video about this mission, which is I released a few months before TFTC came out proper.
So quite capable of destroying both the Osprey.
But basically I go through the various stages of what I chose to do with this mission, why I chose to do it this way, and of course a bit of history about the classic versions. So, you know, if you want to save yourself some trouble, just go and listen to that. But this is going to be a lot more off the cuff anyway, so up to you. But anyway, classic version Battle 7 has 5 missions, but missions 1 to 3 is essentially the same engagement, just spread out over 3 missions.
Track down in orbit.
You have the first mission where you basically take out some fighters and supplies for the Protector, and then at the end you get the frigate Akaga, which in the classic is just a regular frigate, not a modified one, and then an MC-40 cruiser called the Warhawk, rebel controlled.
Destroy Protector directly. So your
Mission 2 then is you destroying the Akaga and some more fighters and protecting the Harpax from bombing runs. And then Mission 3 you finally destroy the Protector and the Warhawk, and Vader shows up, I think, as well. Vader shows up in the end of Mission 2, doesn't he? And then once you deal with them, Zarin shows up with like a bunch of modified corvettes and assault transports and starts his coup attempt, basically. So that's what starts the next big chapter of the future Reimagined campaign. Well, sorry, the future missions of TIE Fighter.
Finish off this fleet once.
So yeah, that's 3 missions spread over. That's it. Say 1 engagement spread over 3 missions, and of course they did that because of the technical limitations of the time. So I knew that the best way to do this would be to make this one big giant mission. And this is the longest mission in Reimagined. This is going to last you at least 20 minutes to complete this from start to finish. And you're probably going to wish you had mid-mission checkpoints at least at some point, but yeah, so we're starting off with this lovely visual. We've got a squadron of TIE Advanced, full squadron, and we've got this gorgeous low-orbit gas giant here. And in the distance we can see the Protector and the other 2 ships I've added to her fleet swinging around to face us. In this instance we've got the Harpax and the Osprey with us, but the way I've sold it says we don't quite have the firepower yet to take them down, so we're just here to hold them until Vader arrives. So this is stage 1 of this mission. Stage 1 is a cakewalk. It's just like, here we go. You've got a squadron of TIE Advance. We're going to go to town here. Harkov has 4 TIE Advance left, and they're just quickly taken out immediately. A few TIEs, and then some new fighter cripes. These are from Star Wars Galaxies, I want to say. We've got the Dune Lizard and Psyche. And these are Hutt fighters, basically. And the reason I've added them here is because at this point, you know, throughout the various engagements of Harkov's fleet in Battle 5, that they're pretty low on resources and fighters, and so they've had to essentially go to the black market and buy some fighters, which are obviously vastly inferior to what we're flying. And you can see here now, it's just, yeah, we are slaughtering these guys. We're just exploding. I can barely shoot these guys before my wingmates kill them. And I'm just really trying to sell the fact here that, you know, we're in control here. It's just a matter of time. They're not going to be able to hurt the Harpax. So we're just holding them here, waiting for the cavalry to arrive. And so this is basically mission 1 of the classic campaign.
This is 11. Starship got me sighted.
You can see that's a Dune Lizard. The Dune Lizard is a bit tankier than the Psyche, I think, but either way, neither ship is a particular threat here. But it was just another opportunity there, as you can see, just to have something different to shoot at and to fight. And here we go. Here's the rebel reinforcements. This time it's a full-sized Calamari cruiser, not a light cruiser. We've got an assault frigate, which I haven't used yet at this point for Reimagined, but that's basically a dreadnought hull with some fancy modifications to it. And we've got a couple of corvettes as well.
All remaining squadrons.
So now the game changes. We are outnumbered 7 to 1. We're heavily outnumbered, 3 to 1 at least in terms of capital ships. They have 7 capital ships, we have 2. And yeah, we're in trouble now. But we you know, we have our orders. We have to hold the position because we you know, Vader isn't going to tolerate this failure a second time to destroy this traitor fleet. So you can see there in the distance, the Harpax and the Osprey are now turning away from the fleet to try and basically keep some distance. And this is essentially beginning the second stage or phase of this mission. There's actually a kind of a breather here. You get 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of a breather, where you can race back to the Harpax and the Osprey, rearm if you've used any missiles, and then basically, as you can see, wait for this swarm of rebel fighters to come in. Now this took a little bit of fancy waypoint orderings and programming, scripting conditions to... Not even scripting, just conditions and triggers. Try not to use too complex terms. To basically keep these fighters in a sort of holding pattern, so you can see the Imperials here are also sort of just flying around. Because I kind of wanted this initial clash of fighters, and I'm trying to obviously avoid the AI just being dumb and just flying straight up to the capital ships and getting themselves killed. So it serves a purpose of A, stopping the AI being stupid, B, allowing the player a breather to rearm and prepare themselves if necessary, because players are going to die on this mission. It's a tough mission, and it gives you time to kind of assess, well, how do I want to approach this? What's the best strategy here? And basically, once the rebel fleet gets close enough, or at least the fighter groups, our own fighters start racing towards them, and so we begin the engagement closer to our capital ships than we do theirs. Now, the ebb and flow of this battle means that eventually your friendlies and yourself are going to be dogfighting in the middle of those other capital ships. And not only that, but the enemy capital ships are moving faster than the Harpax and the Osprey. So as this mission progresses, you get, you know, and you're dogfighting around, swinging about, you can see the enemy fleet is getting progressively closer and closer and closer. And really, what I'm trying to do here is sell that the pressure is on and doom is upon you, because you're going to have to deal with a lot of torpedoes here. You're going to have to deal with lots of enemy fighters going for you, depending on how badly or well your friendlies do. You do need to divide your time between fighters and bombers, because if you don't help your friends with the fighters, you'll end up being overwhelmed by fighters, and if you don't deal with the bombers, then the bombers are going to win and kill the Harpax. So, yeah, it's a tough mission and it's very, very hard to balance. But what we end up here with is a huge spectacle of a mission. It's not so much a massive fleet fight as it is just a huge furball of fighters. And against this backdrop of the gas giant and the sort of the darker lighting tones and the red glow of the gas giant, I think really helps to sell a spectacular setting here. And you can see here, just turning off the HUD, it looks fucking gorgeous. Excuse my French. It still looks gorgeous, and with the new D-draw, smooth as butter. So you can still see in the distance the Harpax and the Osprey are still quite far away, and already the fight's kind of moved closer to the enemy capital fleet. Another thing to mention is I see like a directorial element to making these missions. Like I said, you know, we've got the visuals here which look amazing, but to me, you know, this is like a very basic thing we see in the very opening shot of A New Hope, where you see the little rebel corvette followed by a massive Imperial Star Destroyer. You know, the overhead incoming, implying the dominance, the reach of the Empire. So in this case, it's something similar. The enemy fleet is on a higher Z plane to us, to the Osprey and the Harpax, so they're coming at you from this kind of above angle, implying the dominance that they have in this situation. And when the reinforcements arrive, that's going to flip over, because the Vader's destroyer will again be on a higher plane to the rebel fleet, and then that, you know, the dominance is switched over to our side, and then again when Zarin's fleet arrives, they'll be on a higher plane. They're stacking each other even higher and higher. But as a visual sort of I want to say metaphor, as a visual reference, I think it helps sell the situation the player is in. But man, look at this. This is what we were missing in the classics. This kind of intensity.
Shake that bandit off your stick.
Not that I'm disparaging the gameplay of the classics or anything like that. You know, I've made this mod because I love TIE Fighter. You'll have to forgive my voice, by the way. I've suffered some horrible man flu, also known as a cold, the last few days. Although that's mostly gone now, my voice is still a bit off. So this stage 2, phase 2, whatever you want to call it, lasts about 10 minutes, and yeah, it's probably the toughest part of the whole mission, is this desperate defense. And the closer and closer it gets to that 10-minute mark, the more desperate you should be, because most of your friendly fighters will be gone. The Osprey may be destroyed. The Osprey is not a mission critical craft. It can be destroyed. It won't show up again in Reimagined, because I'm kind of assuming, okay, that's knocked out of the fight at this point, either too badly damaged or it's destroyed. Your only concern here is the Harpax, and then later the Devastator. So you can still use the Osprey as a rearming repair point if you needed, but once that's gone, you don't have anything until at least the Devastator shows up. But there is some incentive to try and keep the Osprey alive if you can, because some of the bombers will be attacking the Osprey in the meantime. But if you lose the Osprey, then all the bombers will just be focusing on the Harpax, and it makes it harder for you. So there's a lot of little elements here which will shift dynamically depending on your actions in the mission. And you can see now the Osprey is swinging back around. Because I think at this point it's like a last desperate, well, I'm just going to do whatever I can to cover the Harpax. Because even if the Osprey survives to this point, then it's going to start taking fire from the capitals. So it's hard to keep the Osprey alive, but it is possible. But you can see now how close that fleet is. They're almost within firing range of the Harpax itself. But it's okay now because here's Vader. Once again using the name the Devastator, not the Garrett. And I'm desperately trying to just survive from the waves of fighters and missiles. But there we go, you can see there, they're on a higher plane, and it's a huge Hail Mary. We've got a couple of squadrons of gunboats coming in, waves of torpedoes are already going straight forward, and loads of fighters launching. So this is now stage 3, phase 3. The battle's turned back in our favour. This is where the player can basically start, relaxing a little bit once you've kind of shaken off any fighters. This is like, we can go to town now. If you want, you can just sit back and watch as all these capital ships are destroyed. It doesn't need any input from you. This is the yeehaw moment. We've won. But it's nice to shoot things and get some points, eh? So yeah, this lasts maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It's just a quick stomping, quick spectacle, lots of explosions. Down goes the Protector. A ship that has plagued us since Battle 2. Finally eliminated. Buggy explosions. You can see in this playthrough the Osprey has actually survived. It's damaged, but it's still there. And here's Zaren's forces. Again, we're using a new ship type here. The Gladiator Star Destroyer. I did actually insert a couple of these in the last mission when we arrived at Omar, but people may not necessarily know that unless they flew around and looked at the ships. But those ships were present at Omar, so again, that's sort of foreshadowing at work here. The 2 flanking destroyers here will die to sheer firepower. And then the Devastator is essentially caught in a pincer movement between these 2 groups of capitals, along with enemy assault transports and TIE Rats. Now this section shouldn't be as hard as the battle we just had, but it's still very possible to die here. In trying to record this particular mission Let's Play, I've died 3 or 4 times at least. Once at this point where I'd almost finished, or at least certainly was winning, and then I got hit by a missile and I'm spinning uncontrollably and I smashed straight into the hull of the Devastator and die because I couldn't turn. So yeah, be careful. But yeah, this is Zaren's somewhat clumsy attempt to kill Vader. I mean, if he really wanted to guarantee it, you'd send more ships, right? But at this point, I'm kind of just saying his main focus is on Coruscant, which we're going to come to. So the Gladiator destroyers, I know they're basically more like missile destroyers, but at the moment they're just using regular lasers. But the plan is, in the future, Reimagined, is to actually turn these into missile cruisers if we can. But still working on that. So here we are, it's just a Devastator now with Vader on board. And now it's just a case of helping your friends to try and kill these 2 Gladiator destroyers and what's left of the attack group before the Devastator is destroyed.
We must return Search
But yeah, this is basically Stage 4. Stage 4 starts once the Rebel fleet's destroyed and Zarin shows up. And this is the final stage. So now we're at the end here, you can see how basically the mission has gone from we're in control to we're not in control to we're in control to we're not in control. It's got this back and forth and keeps the mission varied and interesting and dynamic, and being the longest mission, it also took the longest time to actually get this to the state that it is today, because you have to play through the entire damn mission to check that certain things work. So if I want to make sure that Zarin's fleet does what it's supposed to, I've got to play their first 20 minutes or first 15 minutes to get to that point. Bloody annoying at times, I tell you. But we get what, in my opinion, is the most spectacular mission of Reimagined to date. Don't worry, I'm trying to do my best to completely outdo what I've done here for the future Reimagined campaigns. There will be bigger battles. So I think we're just mopping up what's left now, 98%. Here goes the last destroyer, and we're done. We have defeated Zarin's forces.
Alpha 1.
Good luck completing this on hard without dying half a dozen times.
There is no time to waste.
The Osprey did survive, heavily damaged, but survived. But again, as I said, it's not going to be used anymore. Harpax weathered the storm very well. Devastator, no shields, a little bit of hull damage. All good. And there's some TIE defenders there as well. It's not really drawn attention to in the mission, but it's important because the next mission will be our first go in the TIE defender. And at least this time, now that we've got the red alert flashing, it's not in the outside hull of a Gazanti cruiser.
Your conduct today was beyond impressive. Facing off against a full-sized calamari cruiser with minimal support is no small feat, and you successfully defended the Harpax against their assault until Lord Vader arrived. Harkov's fleet has finally been destroyed, along with the Rebel cruiser, depriving them of one of their most powerful starships. This would have been a great day for the Empire, were it not for Zarin's treachery. If he was bold enough to attack Lord Vader, then he may do the same with the Emperor himself. There is no time to waste, so get to your next briefing.
You are to be commended for your efforts today in saving Lord Vader from the treachery of Admiral Zarin. We must now focus our efforts on ensuring the Emperor's safety.
Yes, we must. A big bonus score. There should be a lot for you to kill here, so you should get nice points. Don't think there's anything new, trinket-wise. I find this funny. I'm not sure I could ever actually imagine Vader sending an email. Yeah, I like the fact that he put no subject. He's just like, good work. I need you. Send. So, yeah. But there we go. That was the Battle 7 Mission 1, the big fight. Next time it'll be Battle 7 Mission 2, as we race to Coruscant to try and save the Emperor. So please do join me then. Until next time, good hunting.